All right, we're back to annoy my neighbors with another live story time in one moment. All right, we're in business. I don't know if you guys can hear that music or not. I have some copyright free music going just to kind of liven the mood a little bit. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure if you can hear it exactly, but feeling a little bashful after not having gone live for a week. So just turning up the feels a little bit. Before I dive into my story time, I did also draw a couple cards just for fun, just as little friends to hang out with us today. Here's a special one, the motivation witch card. So may she motivate me to do a good story time. It's looking a little spooky over here today, isn't it? You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I kind of like this spooky look, as if someone could come peeking out the corner at any moment. Hey, maybe somebody could find like a ghost in the footage or something. That would be exciting. So I think I'm just gonna leave it framed like that. All right, so I don't know if you've been tuning in with my story or not, but things have been not the smoothest lately, but I'm hanging in there. And to add to the list of silly circumstances and stories I got going on in my life, a couple days ago, Friday is when it was, I woke up and I was actually feeling really excited. I woke up and it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful spring day. And I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a run. And before I left, I switched into like some leggings and this shirt actually. And I decided that I was just going to leave my phone and my headphones. Rather uncharacteristic of me. Usually I like to listen to some music or some like motivational, inspirational, educational, informational YouTube video or podcast or something while I'm running. That's usually my go-to. But I've been having kind of an emotional couple days. So I was like, you know what? It's beautiful out there. Let's just go and have a meditative run, because sometimes I like to do that. And I found that there have definitely been times where I've gone out and I have little change in the tone there, and where I've gone out and I have been just running in silence, and I found that good answers have come to mind. It's very meditative. So I decided that I was going to do that. I was like, you know what, we're just going to have a meditative run today. Feeling kind of sad, feeling a little like I just need to center myself a little bit. Let's just go connect with nature and the feeling of our feet on the ground. And I get going on a little bit of a sprint, and I'm not too far away from my house, luckily or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. And I'm just in this elated mood. And because I had been checking, I had just posted my other last YouTube video, and I was just so excited because it got 19 views in the first like day and a half, and those were like organic traffic. And I know that's not a very big number, but hey, it's the big organic traffic that I've probably gotten on a video. And not only that, I noticed that some other people jumped to some of my other videos after they watched that one, and that's never happened before. So I was feeling really excited. And I was just like, thinking to myself, and I was just running, thinking to myself, I'm doing it. I'm building a channel. I'm doing it. And right as I was having that thought, I just like, I hit this uneven bit on the sidewalk and I just biffed it so bad. Like my hat went flying, my eye went flying, and I just like, landed super hard. And I did this a couple of years ago where I was a klutz on the sidewalk, and I was running and I totally biffed it. I was wearing jeans that time though. And that time my jeans totally split open, messed up my knee. Mine was like scabbed over and disgusting for months. So I landed and I could feel my knee and my hip and my hand all hit the ground. And I just had this moment of like, oh God, I didn't even want to look at my knee because I was just remembering last time and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just wearing a pair of leggings right now. They probably ripped right through. And because I could feel the pain and I was just like, great, I just healed. And it's the same knee, of course. I'm like, great, I'm sure that knee really needed another smack. But so I just kind of braced myself. And as I'm kind of, it's like I get up and I'm just like kind of stunned and I'm feeling very nauseous, just this immediate nausea. And I look at my hands and the palm of this one, it's not, this one definitely wasn't as bad. This one definitely got the worst brunt of it. Oh, that does look pretty nasty, doesn't it? This one, the palm was all like scraped and bloodied up, but I landed on the palm, so it wasn't so bad. This one, however, I kind of landed almost on top of it. It was a little bit swollen for about a day afterwards. And it was real nasty the first day, like, ooh, it's real nasty. That's kind of where I'm at now. It's kind of started to scab over, as you can see. It's not poofy anymore. It's still kind of tender, but I landed on that. Luckily though, because the thing is it was so beautiful out, I was just going to wear a tank top and like some shorts or something. But before I left, I just had this little inkling in my gut that I should change into longer sleeved, longer pants. And those leggings, I was pretty impressed. They were pop fit leggings. So I guess this is kudos to those guys because they did not rip. I thought they would for sure, but they withheld better than jeans did. Don't get me wrong, there's a distressed area now, but not near as bad as my jeans took it, a couple years ago. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Of course. So I get this system update just popped up saying it's time for your system update. I forgot it told me it wanted to do that today. Wait an hour, I'm busy. Anyway, yeah, so I royally biff it, and my hands are all disgusting, and I'm just like, luckily I'm not too far away from my house because I've just had this nausea. For a minute I thought I was going to puke, but I was like, no, I will not vomit in public. I have dignity. If I'm going to puke, I will puke on my own lawn or in my own toilet. So I gathered up my strengths and I'm just like kind of dizzy and as I'm like kind of hobbling pathetically back to my house, just kind of like clutching my body and hobbling, I'm feeling kind of disoriented and how in video games when you're injured and your character starts like the screen gets all like fuzzy and weird and it usually starts to get like all bright, like that kind of started happening to me where my vision started getting like really really bright, and it's property, like the light just seemed like intense. It was almost angelic. It reminded me of this One time I attempted to astral project, and then I had this like and I found myself in this angelic sphere in my room, and that's kind of what the lighting reminded me of a little bit, just this really light, intense golden light. And for a minute there, as I was hobbling along, I was like, oh God, did I really shake something loose here? And I don't know. Honestly, I may have been mildly concussed. Who knows? All I know is that I made it to my bathroom, and as soon as I got clutched to the toilet, it was like instant relief. It's like my body knows the toilet, and it knows that the bathroom is a safe space. So it was just kind of like, oh, good, we're safe. We made it. And I just turn on the shower, and I get a better look at my hands, and they're just, oh, all bloodied up. And I'm just woozily just, ugh. I don't even want to look at them. Especially this one nasty when I very because like it took chunks out of my skin. Like I don't know if you can tell that, but it took freaking chunks out of my skin. This is after a couple days of like bandage and like oiling and like trying to heal it, because I thought it was gonna scar, or I was afraid that it might. So I'm still a little nervous about that. So I'm trying to like moisten it up, put some oil and stuff on it so it'll hopefully heal up okay. But um yeah, it was nasty the first day. And I, uh, ugh, uh. Anyways, so after I kind of recovered from the initial shock, and I kind of cleaned myself up a little bit, I just kind of like ended up coming back to my room. And the thing that was really disappointing about that is I actually had a lot of stuff planned for that day. Honestly, or a lot of Photoshop and art specifically, because on my Instagram at Sam_Zog, if you want to follow me, I had just finished this art series where I basically drew a bunch of cartoons on a paper sack. And it was just a fun idea that I had, and I had just that out. So my plan was that day, the day that I hurt my freaking art hand, I was going to Photoshop and just create a bunch of art. Was the plan. Well, I got a little bit of, and I also was going to try out a new recipe that day too. But I got derailed, and I just ended up, oh man, I don't know. I was just woozy and kind of disoriented and in pain and all day long. And then in the evening, my head started like really killing me. Also, it had been like a day since I had eaten at that point, because I didn't have any food prepared at my house, because on my to-do list for the day was to make a new recipe so that I would have food. So I didn't have any food, and I was just like, so tired. I just ended up ordering pizza because I was like, gosh dang it. I just was trying to be healthy. I was trying to be good and just go for a run. And the universe biffed me in the middle of my elated thought. Thanks, universe. What the heck was that about? So anyways, I did kind of draw another card on my Oracle card that talked about this idea about taking a rest, and you need to heal yourself. So I don't know, maybe some part of me was just enforcing some rest, because I have been working on my personal online business nonstop. So maybe you just wanted me to take a little break, give my art hand a break. I did. I still ended up editing some stuff this weekend and everything, but at least Friday though, I just ended up passing out for like hours. I passed out for hours after I biffed it, and then I woke up for a little bit so I could eat, and then I passed back out again at way really early, because I was just my brain was just not all there, man. I wasn't fully functional, and I was tired and in pain. So I just took it easy. Anyways, I've got some other stuff coming up though. I still need to post something today. I've got a thing that I started editing earlier, so I'll post it when I hop off of here. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I got going on. Was there anything else I really needed to say about that story? Other than that, the next day I woke up and I didn't feel as loopy, and then yesterday I felt a lot better, but still my hand was kind of sore. And today I feel much better. My hands is still a little bit tired, but I've been able to move it a bit better today, and I've been doing some art and tasks, life tasks. So there's that. So on to part 2 of this life story time, which is about rapid COVID testing today. So I saw a good friend of mine last Thursday. We went, and I actually haven't gone to. I've been a real hermit this whole COVID situation, really, the whole pandemic. I've definitely hermited myself away to the point where now I'm having a little bit of trouble reemerging back into society. Not gonna lie, but I'm working on it. The spring is making me more hopeful and social. So, um, but I really I've just been eating at home, just making stuff at home, maybe occasionally eating out to try and keep the local biz alive here and there, you know. Um, uh, but last Thursday, I met up, and I had my first restaurant meal, actual sit down meal. To be fair, I did earlier in the year, I did end up going to an eclair shop with a friend, just because I needed to get out my house, and that was like the moment where people were kind of allowed to start going out again. And so I just went to this little eclair shop, and it was nice, but there was nobody in that eclair shop. On Thursday, I went to an actual diner, and there was a lot of people in there. They're I was almost like, well, not used to seeing that many people in a space since COVID, you know? So that was kind of like, oh, and I know that that's like normal and people have been like doing that all the time and everything, but it felt very strange to me because I was just like, well, I haven't sat down in a restaurant in ages, but it was kind of fun. It was just kind of like, oh, I mean, everybody was kind of wearing masks, and well, I guess people really weren't wearing masks once they were sat down. So it was kind of like, oh, well, this feels like normal. It was putting me in kind of an interesting headspace. I'll put it that way. But yeah, so I had so me and one of my very, very, very favorite people in this world had some breakfast together, and at this pancake diner, and I got a Dutch baby. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a German pancake, so it's a specific kind of way that you cook pancake, and I specifically got the Dutch treat version, which had lots of fresh fruit in it. So it was filled with berries, yeah, just berries like strawberries and raspberries and blackberries and blueberries, and in this delicious doughy German pancake with like powdered sugar, man. Ooh, and I put some syrup on there, and it was great. Anyways, got that. So, then fast forward to today, and I get a text from my friend, and he says that he's went home from work sick, and he just got a COVID test and tested positive for COVID. And I'm like, oh, great, wonderful. I'm like, and I'm like, wouldn't it be great if I spend the whole time in isolation almost. There were a couple moments where, I've done a couple things. Like I said, I tried to take though, of course, and I've been basically by myself for a year in this apartment. So there's that. And so yeah, precautions. Dang it! I just lost where I was in my story because I got a text message and then I started trailing off. Dang it! Okay, I'll get it back on track. So, where was I? Oh yeah, okay. He texts me saying that he's tested positive for COVID, and I was like, "Dang it!" Wouldn't it be so funny? Because they're almost opening up vaccines to everybody, and although I have, I've been kind of freaked out from all the stuff that I've been hearing and everything. I know that they're making it like travel. You have to have it to travel, so I just figure, well, I'm not staying in the USA for the whole rest of my life. So I guess that means at some point I have to get a vaccine, huh? So anyways, I guess, yeah, I mean, I would have otherwise, but uh, that does apply some added pressure and makes you want to go a little bit quicker. It at least makes me want to go a little bit quicker on the process. And so basically I was just thinking to myself that they're opening up vaccines to people, to like everyone, or people my age, or I think everyone. I don't know. I just heard this from someone else in just this week in a couple of days. So I'm like, oh man, dude, wouldn't that be so ridiculous? And it is ridiculous. He got COVID. He's gonna get the vaccine like ASAP, and he he got it right before. That's not funny at all. I'm so sorry. It's the irony. The irony is funny, and I mean, I might not be out of the woods. Who knows? Who knows? Either. I've been trying to be careful, but I was just thinking to myself the same thing. Where I'm like, wouldn't that be so freaking ridiculous if, like, right here at the end, you just catch it? Oh my freaking gosh. Anyways, I am worried about him though, and I hope that it just stays mild. My grandma also caught it, and she is in a nursing home, so it was a whole to do. But she's doing okay. She said for her, the after effects of COVID were actually worse than the actual symptoms and sickness itself, which I think is kind of interesting. She said that during the actual, few weeks that she had it and was in isolation and everything, she actually wasn't that sick. But afterwards, I guess that some people get this rash, and she got the rash. She said that only like 20% of people or something get it, and I was one of the lucky ones, as she put it. And she said that was actually worse than the actual COVID experience. She said that dealing with the rash afterwards was way, way, way worse. So, anyways, I find that really interesting that it has such a variety of symptoms. It's so strange. Anyways, so I went and got so once I heard that, I was like, okay, well, and I was going to supposedly this weekend, my little nephew, we're doing a Christmas get together with my nephew at my nan's house because we didn't get to see him at Christmas, but now we can. So we were going to do that this weekend, and I'm like, oh no, well, I guess I should get tested and just see. I might not be able to do that. And also, I mean, I should just check, it's been 4 days since I saw somebody who was recently exposed. So I suppose that's just the responsible thing to do in this scenario, especially since they're making testing pretty easy, at least here in the States. Like it was pretty painless. The first time that I went, it was a whole annoying thing, but this time it was like a breeze. So I heard about that today, and I was just like, and of course, after I heard that, I started thinking about the fact that I was, and he was saying his main symptom was just like nausea and like a light cough, kind of. And like he almost pukes. And then all of a sudden I flashed back to that moment when I biffed it. And I was thinking about how nauseous and pukey I was that day. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, maybe that was COVID. and then of course after I hear that, I'm like, I'm just dehydrated earlier, I'm sure, and I start feeling like my throat feels dry, and I'm like, is that a pandemic cough? Is that what that was? Like, okay, I really should do this. So I went, and it was a whole thing. It was at like the fairgrounds. There's like this fairground area that I've worked multiple events at, actually, throughout, back when events used to be a thing, and I used to work as a part of the event gig economy. I used to work at the fairgrounds, and I worked multiple beer fests there. I was VIP coordinator assistant at the last one I was able to go to. So that was really exciting. I had a good time with that. And so I have a lot of good memories at the fairground. Now I've got another new one. So when I got there, I got lost. So I got there and I was just like, I went to this area I normally go to because I just figured that would probably be where it was, or they would have some signage. They really didn't. And so I just called my friend and I was like, dude, I'm super lost. Can you help me find this place? And he's just like, oh yeah, it's actually you're gonna need to go out and go around, and you're gonna go up. It's actually like kind of on the opposite side of where you are. Okay. It's like by the horses. So I go out and I kind of turned the wrong direction. If I had just turned the other way and gone around, then that would have been one thing. But but what I ended up doing is I kind of ended up going on. I'm actually glad that I ended up taking this roundabout way, though. I'm actually glad that I ended up going this roundabout way because I ended up finding myself in this random like trailer park, like a trailer park zone. I don't really know. I guess it was like a little trailer park camping ground. So I ended up just wandering around this. I ended up just wandering around this trailer park ground, and I was weirdly mystified by it. I was just like, whoa. Look at all of the people in their trailers, and everybody's just wandering around, and it just felt like this little caravan. And I was just like, whoa, what magical world did I accidentally turn into? Didn't mean to go down this road, but I'm so glad that I did. And it just created this really magical feeling in me where I was like, oh, it felt like adventure. It made me wonder where all these people were from and where they were going, how long they were staying, yeah, it was very exciting. And so after I wandered through the rather vast trailer park that I accidentally turned into, I did find my way. I ended up going all the way back around in circles before I so I find the gate. The signage was not very clear. They could really do a better job of that, but whatever. I find this thing that says entrance, and I drive closer and I can see it says COVID testing. So I'm like, okay. And at this point, it was just like a drive-through experience. I don't know. It reminded me of like a like Disneyland ride or something, where I just felt like I was in one of the little carts, and we're just going along on the trail very slowly. And so I just kind of go through, and I just, the thing that was kind of intimidating about it a little bit is the first time that I did it was all, medical personnel, but here it was all like army personnel, so military personnel, which added a rather dystopian feel to the experience a little bit. You feel like you're driving into some military camp to get tested for some virus that's plaguing the globe. And anyways, so I go up there, and they just kind of guide me along. I talk to the one lady, and she tells me that it might be too soon for me to be tested, and that there's a chance that I still could have it, even if regardless of what the test says. But I am having like no symptoms really, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. But she seems really, really concerned, because I told her, and I mean, fair enough. As far as she or even I know, like, I could be some sort of a carrier after having been exposed to somebody who caught it, and who knows if he caught it before or after he saw me. Like, that's the big question. Anyways, so basically she told me that it might be too early, but and that depending on, she seemed to think that the worst, she seemed to be anticipating a potential negative or positive test result, because she was just like, okay, and if you wait until if you wait here, then they'll get you your test results probably in like 20 minutes. And then if it's positive, you can talk to somebody and they can get something figured out. And like, she just seemed like she really wanted me to take that option. And I was just kind of like, do I have to take that option? Or can I just like get swabbed and go home? And she was like, it's your choice. But just some people find it very helpful to have, So I think she was more just like afraid that if my test, I think she was being kind, basically, is what I'm saying. I think she was just like, oh no, because I think she could tell that I wasn't really worried, but I think she was worried. And like, I don't know why I didn't feel worried. I just felt like there was just this part of me that just felt like I'm not sick. I don't know. And of course I was a little bit nervous about it. But anyway, so we continue along, and these army dudes walk up, and they're just like, blah, 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 blah. I hand them my ID. They're like, did you sign up beforehand? Yes, I did. That really sped the process along. They hand me a little sticker mabob. I drive up, and it's like it's in a literal barn. It is in a barn, because at the state fairgrounds, they have like horses and barn animals and stuff. So they've got stables and barns. And so this COVID testing center is literally in a horse stable that they reconverted into just a little testing center, I guess. And just with like some little tents, very basic tents, depressed looking personnel in masks, God bless them, guys. All of the personnel, all of the health medical personnel that have had to deal with this, like, seriously, I'm impressed with you guys. You guys have more mental fortitude and stamina than I think most of us do. That's what I think when I think of like the medical people throughout this whole pandemic. There needs to be like a medical personnel benefit program or something. I don't know. They need something. I hope that happens after all of this. And anyway, so I keep driving along, just driving through the Disneyland path. And so I get to like the testing table, and I hand the guy this stuff. And he's and one thing that I noticed about all of these military dudes, and this could just be social anxiety, but I felt like all of them were really, really nice when I first was talking to them. But then at some point they just like seemed like, meh. So that's probably just social anxiety. But I was just like, what did I do to suddenly make all of them hate me when they were all so nice to me for the first 5 seconds we were speaking? Anyways, you know anxiety. And anyway, so yeah, basically I just go up there and I kind of take my mask down. He's like, "Have you done the rapid testing before?" And I was like, I mean, I guess the last test that I did, I got back in like a day. I guess so. I guess, yeah. So yes, I had. And so basically, he was just like, "Okay, well then you probably already know. Then I'm just gonna da da da." The other one that I did it myself the last time. I went into this. They just had me go into a room and swab myself, and I swab my nose, and then you have a separate one, and you swab your throat with that one. They didn't do the throat swab. They just did the nose swab, and he did it for me, which I don't know. Honestly, it was fine, but I was just like, oh my, somebody's sticking a thing up my nose right now. Okay. I know that some people have a problem with the tickle or something. Not an issue with me. This schnoz, this golden schnoz was fine. It's big enough. It ain't got a problem with a little swabby swab. Anyways, so yeah, he just swabbed me really quick, and it was just like, okay. And then I was just like, well, I'm really glad that this was a drive-through process, and that I didn't have to actually go into the office again, because that was super annoying. And they made me fill out a bunch of paperwork last time, and it was just super simple this time. So, anyways, I drive home, and it takes me about 15, 20 minutes to drive home, and I've only been home probably about, I don't know, like 10 minutes or something like that. And I already had my test results back, and I go through this whole encrypted process, and da 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 da, negative. Yeah. So my result came back negative, although the one lady did warn me that it could still potentially happen if I'm not, you know. So just keep an eye on it, basically. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it for a couple of days. I don't feel sick at all, but I mean, uh, you know, the COVID is a mystery to us. So it seems like it just kind of does its own thing, and you never know. Sometimes it pops in, sometimes it pops out. Sometimes it's got lots of symptoms, sometimes it really doesn't. It's all very unclear. So, yeah, that's the update. I'm just going to hang tight, see what happens over the next couple of days. Hopefully I don't get sick, and I don't know. I don't know if I should get tested again or not. I mean, I probably won't if I don't feel sick. I mean, our symptoms, I can't remember if they decided that you can pass it asymptomatically or not. I'm really not. I don't know what the final verdict on that was basically, but maybe I'll look it up. But basically, yeah, I'm just gonna see how I feel over the next couple days. Hopefully, I don't feel sick at all. Hopefully, my little scabby hand will get feeling better. Um, you see how that one got like a little, yeah. Anyways, you probably don't actually want to see that. It looks a lot better than it did 2 days ago. Like, yeah, I was honestly a bit scared. So it actually looks much better than even yesterday. So feeling good. Let me see. Any other updates for you guys? Well, I mean, I'm just still plugging along. I still have been posting on Instagram every day if you want to follow me over there. I've got some different content planned. Here's another thing I did want to bring up. So the last video that I posted was actually really, really hard for me. It was really emotionally intense. And I don't know, I just thought I looked ugly in the video, and it was a really touchy subject, and I just had a hard time with it. I had a hard time with it. Hated editing that thing. It took me freaking days. It took me days to edit that, and just days of me picking at myself. And I almost didn't even post it, but I spent so much time on it. I was like, gosh dang it. I struggled through editing this. We're posting it. And yeah, so I posted it, and it got some decent engagement, organic engagement compared to many of my other videos, and I was pretty excited about it. But I've been thinking to myself, I might take a little bit of a break on the early 2000s diary series to focus on some other content that I've been wanting to make. I was going to film, specifically, I want to start filming more bullet journal content, add that to my mix of content types. And I was actually going to film that this weekend, but then the whole injury debacle, and I didn't want to film a video featuring my hand when my hand looks like this, but I might just have to, though, to be fair. I mean, maybe I can strategically hide the ugly scab. I was just thinking to myself, like, great, my first bullet journal video and my hand is all scab-tastic. I mean, I don't think there's really, okay, you know what? There is actually such a thing as scab aesthetic, but I'm not sure that's really the kind of aesthetic for my channel. Maybe a little, it's maybe a little too dark for the aesthetic I'm trying to deliver with my bullet journal content. But so I'm going to do that just because like I said, the last diary entry I did, I picked that series. I wanted to just read my old diary because I thought it would be funny. I just thought it would be really lighthearted, funny. And every single time, even when I think it's just going to be a short little silly elementary kids, I always end up diving into some like nook, some injured nook of my heart that hasn't been looked at in a while, So that's why I think I might give that one a little bit of a breather, because the last video was a little too intense for me, and I want to try some other content types. So look forward to something different from your Sam Zog, Sammy Z, you and me, hanging out like a family. Yeah, or something like that. But yeah, so if you guys watch it, just I hope you like it. Honestly, this whole channel has been quite vulnerable for me. I've really taken up the classic YouTube spirit of just airing out your true self, I suppose, and just saying what you feel. Okay, anything else I need to talk to you guys about? I don't think so. Here, I'll give you a little preview of my March bullet journal so you can kind of see a little bit of what I'm working on. So like, I went with kind of this pinkish, it's kind of like watermelon colors, but I kind of went with I don't know, just this, how do I describe this style? I don't know how to describe this style, but you saw it. You know. But it's like gold and pink and teal, and it's kind of like my colors. So, but yeah, here's like, I haven't filled this out yet. That's something I'm gonna finish tonight as well, because I just started this new week. But yeah, so that's a little preview. I'm gonna do a March bullet journal video, and then since I just started this new one, 2021, I've still got to like ink. I started this new bullet journal for my goals and stuff, so I still need to like ink it and set it up. So I want to do a separate like bullet journal setup video too. So those are two videos that are on my plate. I've got a couple of other ideas for other videos that I want to make too. And of course, I'll still continue to go live. Yes, I will still continue to go live and give story times and updates on my life while I figure out what else I can offer you that might interest you. If anybody watches this and you have like a request, I'm always down for requests. But plan, and maybe once you see what else I can cook up, what else I can do, maybe that'll give people more ideas of things you can do for me and for you. All right, so I'm glad that I did this video, but I think I rambled on quite long enough, and I do have a couple more bits of content and things to get out before the day is through. So wherever you are, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you and more of you soon. And I hope that this journey reveals something interesting and fun for all of us, and that it takes us by surprise. Me most of all. Anyways, guys, bye. We'll see you next time, okay? Until then, hang out and treat yourself kindly. Bye.